We are mildly interesting guys, and we talk about some stuff. So welcome to the podcast, we call it Joel the Podcast. It's Alex and it's Alex, here for Joel the Podcast. Hello everybody, I'm Alex.
And I'm Alex.
And this is our podcast, Joel.
Oh no.
What?
I wasn't thinking and I synced it up with me hearing you.
Oh, do you want to do it again?
No. All
right. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 44?
Yep.
43?
Nope, 44.
44. Another quarantine episode of Joel the Podcast. First of all, I just wanted to announce that neither of us owes the other person $1.
That is incorrect, as we all know.
With that being said,
nobody's actually emailed us about that, so
that's because the answer is pretty obvious.
It is pretty obvious. It's just that you don't agree. So.
No, it is obvious, and the fact that no one's emailed us is because everything is right. No, neither of us having to give the other person $1. Everyone's like, yeah, that's obviously the right answer, so there's no need for me to email about that.
If you're listening to this, since you disagree with that, please email us.
Or even if you agree with it, let us know so I can rub it in Nathan's face.
I guess you could do that too, but just remember in that case, use the subject line, I'm a dumbass, because...
Either way, use that subject line.
Well, yeah, I mean, feel free to call Alex a dumbass as well, actually.
All right.
I'm a dumbass, and also so is Alex, because he owes me $1.
Next up, sports. So obviously there's no real sports still. But as per our listener Samantha's suggestion, we checked out an interesting esport. And during the past week, somebody set the record for the fastest full combo completion of Through the Fire and the Flames on Guitar Hero at 165% speed. And the video is amazing. I don't know, maybe you can comment on this, but we should definitely try to put the video in the description of this video if we can.
I was thinking of that as well. That would be a very nice YouTube-y kind of thing to do. So if I remember to do that, I will. But no promises, obviously, based on that.
Right. So if we don't just search YouTube for Through the Fire and the Flames 165%, and you should find it. It's really amazing.
It's intense.
Yeah.
I don't until I saw this video, I didn't care at all about the Guitar Hero world record for 165 whatever it is. But somehow it's emotionally investing once you start watching. It's amazing.
Yeah, and so for those of you who haven't seen the video, the guy is very nonchalant. Like, obviously he's done this many, many times, or at least attempted it many, many times.
Right.
But he's talking to his Twitch followers who are commenting while he's doing it. He reaches away from his guitar at one point and barely gets back in time to hit the notes. And at the end, once the world record, he just gives a thumbs up and he's like, "That's the world record," and that's it. He's not celebrating at all. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
So definitely check it out.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that this video opened my eyes up to the fact that there is a competitive Guitar Hero scene, which I gotta say I wouldn't have expected. Do you know there are Guitar Hero tournaments?
Not now, obviously, but you would go in person.
Right, and compete.
Is it head to head? Can you do that?
Yeah, it is head to head. I don't know if you do it at the same time, or one person does it and then the next person does it, but it's definitely you're competing against another one person.
Right. Obviously it should be at the same time. You should be,
right.
both on stage with like a choreographed lights show
Right.
going on behind you as you play Guitar Hero on your. Do
It
they
should be.
do
It
they
should.
do
It
that
should.
thing where like they use the really old TVs and like it's still hooked up to a, I don't know, PlayStation 2 or what? I don't know that much about Guitar Hero. Do you know what I mean though? Like
Yeah.
it's all
But, so
played
yeah,
on original
for
equipment or whatever.
yeah. So for Super Smash Bros. For original Super Smash Bros. Tournaments, the N64s can only be hooked up to like old CRTs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I so I know so the I briefly looked up tournament rules, and that one said that they play on Xbox 360.
Okay.
Now I don't really know anything about Xbox 360, but I would guess that it would hook up to a modern TV.
I assume so. Yeah, they're not. Well, they're kind of that old, but not like that old.
Right. Right.
So.
So that is that, and so definitely check out the competitive Guitar Hero scene. It's pretty cool. All right.
I didn't really. I've also got a e-sport of sorts.
Okay, go.
That
Excellent.
I was watching this past. I don't know all that much about this, but apparently there was some like in-person chess tournaments going on a month or two
Interesting.
ago. That everything of course got shut down. But in the meantime, Magnus Carlsen, who we mentioned last week,
Right.
decided to set up this online the biggest online chess tournament, biggest by prize pool. There were 8.
Oh.
So first of all, it was called the Magnus Carlsen Invitational,
Right.
and Magnus Carlsen was a participant, which I think is really funny. But he also apparently, I don't know if he chose or somebody chose, obviously based on the invitational name, somebody chose 7 other players. So for the past couple of weeks, it's actually interesting timing that we've started doing this esports coverage. For the past couple weeks, they've been playing. Everybody played each other, and then the top 4 scoring players went into a knockout tournament. All I really have to say about it, because I'm not like a chess analyst or anything, is that as you
I'm not a chess scientist.
as you mentioned in the last episode, Magnus Carlsen is the world chess champion at the moment. Like I said, he was a participant in his own tournament, and it just wrapped up the other day, and it turns out that he won.
Wow.
So,
So no one got he just kept the money.
well, I mean, it was split up among. I think
okay.
everybody who played got some amount, but obviously he got the most for
Right.
for winning.
What was the total prize pool?
The total prize pool was $250,000.
Nice.
I think he ended up with 70 or so thousand, if I remember off the top of my head.
Nice.
And everybody else got like
Less.
$10,000 to $40,000, something in that range. So, I mean, not a bad deal for playing some chess.
Yeah. I should become one of the top 8 chess players in the world. Sounds like it's pretty lucrative.
Yeah, I wonder how they were selected, because
They were selected by probably Magnus Carlsen. He was
Right.
like, yeah, I know this guy.
Imagine if he just picked like 7 really bad chess players.
It's Magnus Carlsen and 7 of his college buddies.
And he's just like ridiculously flexing on them with
Right. But they get paid $10,000 to
But they get-
$40,000, so
exactly, yeah. So if you're into chess, I know that was one of the things that Samantha mentioned. Um, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are actually qualified to talk about that. So there you go. Go check it out.
Okay, and then one last thing about sports was that Samantha suggested we check out competitive stochastic. What was it? Competitive
Stochastic gradient descent.
gradient descent, right? Which we looked.
Really proud of
which we-
myself. I'm not looking at that or anything. I just
Right, we Googled it and we
Yeah.
couldn't find anything, and then so we clicked on the link that she sent us, and it was like just marble racing.
obviously we should have. I know in the podcast we were like, let's watch this. Nah, that wouldn't be very interesting. We'll just wait. It would have been
Yeah.
way funnier if we discovered,
Yeah.
captured our reaction when we realized what.
And honestly, it was so interesting, especially
was.
the commentary.
There was the ones she linked to us were this guy. He dug like a big sand trench and rolled down. It was like candy eggs or something.
Right.
Was that the one in the email or just one we found? We ended up
I think
going down. The
I
rabbit
feel like
hole,
she linked to the
obviously.
channel. I don't remember though.
Oh no, you're right. It was the link to the channel. So, yeah, okay. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time on this, but
The bottom line is thank you, Samantha. That was very entertaining, and I loved the name.
yes.
So, all right. Wow, only a 10-minute introduction. We're
Oh, not to
slacking
worry.
today.
We've still got some emails to cover.
Oh, right, with the emails. Yes.
Just
So
some-
go ahead. And
Just
read
some
the
brief
emails.
ones. I'm sure we won't get too much longer, but we got a couple emails from Cephalopodmaster this week. First one is the subject line is "I am also a dumbass." Trying to see if that's a reference to something, and I'm not
Maybe.
sure if it is.
I mean, he probably I know in a previous email he sent you are dumbasses. So
Yeah, maybe it's just a callback all the way to.
send us an email, Cephalopodmaster, and let us know what we're missing here or if we're not. Our email can be found at our website, which is alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website. Whew, almost ran out of breath saying
Yeah,
that.
I realized I didn't actually say that earlier when I said the emails, but now you know.
Yeah.
Maybe the email will explain. I haven't read it. Let's see. So I've read the Wikipedia article on European map, and apparently the definition of Eastern Europe is arbitrary. So I guess you could really
No
just
shit.
say that any country belongs to Eastern Europe if you wanted.
Okay, well, first of all, that's not true. I mean, I guess you could. Okay, you're right that you could arbitrarily define any region in Europe to be Eastern Europe and then say any countries in Eastern Europe, but some of them would just be objectively wrong.
Like Australia is not an Eastern European country.
Right.
I don't know if that's what you were going for, but
Well, yeah, but also like Spain,
oh,
Portugal,
Well-
Great Britain. Those are there's really no way to reasonably define Eastern Europe that includes those countries.
I think the only you could reasonably call all of the countries in Europe Eastern Europe except for one of them, which is the one that is farthest west.
It's got to be Portugal, right?
I think so, but maybe there's like some islands or something off the coast. Let's see, map of Europe. I think we've really killed this bit.
Yeah. So
Iceland is Iceland a part of Europe? I'm pretty sure.
oh,
it
I don't
is.
know. I guess
Iceland
I don't know
is
what other
farther
continent.
west.
What
than
about Greenland?
Portugal.
Greenland's part of North America, right?
Yes, it doesn't appear on any of these pictures of
Yeah,
Europe.
so I guess Iceland would be the westernmost European country.
Iceland is the westernmost European country. All of the other European countries are Eastern European.
All right.
That
So-
is, we've established that's how it works.
Yeah. all right. Anyway,
This
carry
email
on.
goes on. Also, I am extra dumbass because last week I wrote an email to point out that Nathan says absolutely a lot and forgot to press send. Is that
I
true?
haven't noticed that.
Okay, I'm going to be really self-conscious about it from now on. So you might have just made me never say it again. And then finally, lastly, now that you've got an email from a third listener, I think it's not weird for me to participate, so I'll jump in when you guys want me to come in. This is excellent news. Thank you, Cephalopod Master. We'd be happy to have you at any time because
we have no plans.
I was about to say that,
restrictions.
but I wasn't sure. Yeah,
Right.
no, that's the
And also, cephalopods, start thinking about what you might want to discuss on the podcast or do.
absolutely
So-
yeah. If you come with a plan, you'll make it extra good. Otherwise, who knows
So
what'll happen.
if you're just free whenever, we record on Monday evenings.
Yep.
So just let us know if you're free then, or if you're not free then, we can work out another time. So send us another email,
All right.
and if for a scheduling email, we won't need to read that on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we'll use our discretion with
Right.
with
All right.
emails.
Go ahead.
There's another email from Cephalopod Master. Subject line: I'm a dumbass. I really enjoyed the chicken segment. It was especially funny. Also, I was eating KFC while listening to the podcast, so I think the podcast
Nice.
greatly enhanced the chicken eating experience. It's a great idea. You should probably always listen to KFC while
Yeah.
eating our podcast. That's
Oh,
absolutely.
did you say always listen to KFC?
I did say that. And then furthermore, I nearly said that's absolutely not what I meant to say. So I'm
Don't not say when he. I don't think it's bad that you would say absolutely a lot. It's just
what a disaster of a sentence. All right, let me
now
start
that's going
over.
to become a meme. All right.
I think it's a good idea to eat KFC while you listen to the podcast.
I absolutely agree. And thank you for the feedback, Cephalopod. We don't get much positive feedback, so now I feel like this has all been worth it,
Yep,
and my life is complete.
definitely.
All right.
There
So
is
thanks for those emails as well.
one final email. This one is from Joel ESP8266 at gmail.com. Before you get too excited, no, this is not a new person.
I know it's not Joel. Okay, you don't have to temper my expectations on that.
In fact, it's just me.
Oh, okay.
The subject line is I'm a dumbass. The body of the email says I pressed the email button. And that is because I built an email button.
That is excellent.
If you plug this in and click this button,
For those of you who can't see, he's got a breadboard with some kind of microcontroller on it
if you click the
and a
button,
button.
it will send us an email with the subject line I'm a dumbass and body I pressed the email button.
Okay, so that's excellent. Here's the next step. You need to 3D print some kind of housing, and also have it not be on a breadboard, probably,
Yep.
so that it can just be like, or actually just get an easy button and
something
take
I've
out
done
the
before.
inside and just
Yeah.
replace it with the necessary circuitry. Then what you need to do is calculate how much. Well, first of all, send me one.
Right.
But after you've done that, calculate how much it costs to produce one of those, and then we can sell them.
Ooh, I like that idea. So there are at least two catches. They're,
All right.
they're not that big a deal, I don't think, but maybe our
right, let's
potential
hear it.
buyers would. Number one, I suppose this isn't necessarily a catch, but each button will need its own email address, or they can all share this one that I've created. The thing is, in order to make this work, because this is just a microcontroller sending a, I don't know, it's probably an HTTP. No, it's whatever the email protocol is, SMTP.
Yeah, or STMP or
whatever it
something like
is, the email protocol. It's just a microcontroller that like creates that and then sends it to Google. And normally Google would be like, "What is this?" You have to like go into your account settings into like the security section and enable just what the heck ever to send emails on your behalf. So I didn't attach this to my own account on purpose because that's a bit sketchy.
Right. So I'm thinking that they can all just email from a single address.
So it could just could just all come from the Joel account that I have set up here.
So one thing is we would need to. It's not really interesting for us to just get an empty email every time someone presses the button.
Right.
So what we need is like a list of things that could be sent in an email to us.
So like a couple of random options that it selects from.
Right. Well, okay. Here's what ideally would happen. We would have a box on our website that anyone could go to and like submit just some text that would be emailed to us.
Yeah.
The next time a button is pressed. And it would just choose from the accumulated list of everything that people have submitted.
Whoa, so you can like submit something and then the next time anybody anywhere presses the button, that reaches out to the list and selects something at random.
Well, so I was thinking it would be right. And I would think it would be like semi-random, so like it would be weighted more towards things that we haven't been sent before.
Yeah, okay.
So
I really like that because
that's a great idea because number one,
put in the effort will go to the website and put in effort. Everyone else can just click a button.
Like right. Also, it's a low amount of effort. It's
an incredibly low amount of
just
effort.
Like go to the website and type in whatever you want.
Right.
So there's a chance that people might actually do it. Also, we would be receiving to us novel content.
Right.
Like we wouldn't be making up what's being and then just receiving our own stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't know from the website perspective how easy that would be, or if listeners would actually do it, but that's my idea.
So if you remember, it is technically possible but a little bit complicated to have a database behind the web page that we have set up on GitHub.
Right.
This is a pretty funny idea, so it might actually be worth it, whereas the counter was just
like
a
not
joke.
worth it.
Yeah.
Right.
If we get serious interest in the email button thing.
If you would go on our website and put things that get emailed to us.
Right.
Send us an email.
If you would pay $10 for a button, maybe a bit more. I don't know. It'll probably depend on the number of them that we sell, which is going to be very small. And I assume we're not going to try and put any profit margin on this because what's the point? It's more fun to have it out there. Just with what's on the breadboard here, I don't know, it's like the microcontroller is $5 and then the LED clicky button and 2 resistors are 10 cents total.
Right.
So if I'm going to be manufacturing some custom PCBs, that's I don't know, you can get those pretty cheaply, honestly, if I buy a bunch of them. The unit price will be cheap.
Right.
Well, I mean, like honestly, like 5 or 10 of them would be, including shipping, maybe $20 or $30 total. And
that's not bad.
Can't really see us selling any more than that.
Yeah, I don't think we would ever need any more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have one, of course. You have one. If anyone else is interested, they have one.
All right, so this is a great idea.
So I'm excited.
So good job to you for that.
I made this in like an hour. It turned out to actually not be that hard. And then I think the rest of the work is not that much either. Definitely worth it. So yeah, send us an email if you think this sounds fun.
Yep. All right. And if you have things that would be emailed to us, don't tell us. Wait until we actually end up putting it up, and then put it in there. Because it's more fun for us to get it
Also, if you can think of any other features this should have, like,
Oh yeah.
so I'll go a bit into detail so that you can understand what it does currently and think about what other things maybe you would want it to do. Right now, you plug it in and you wait for a little while for it to connect to Wi-Fi, and that's the second catch, which I was going to mention, is that I have hard coded in my Wi-Fi SSID and password in plain text.
Nice.
So once again, this is not a very secure thing, and also that would need to be customized for every Wi-Fi network that you want it to connect to. So
Right. So if you want one, you'll have to be okay with sending Nathan your Wi-Fi SSID and password.
or we could change how it works a little bit. There's probably some cleverer ways to do this. It would take a lot more work. Anyway, you plug it in, it uses your hard-coded credentials to log onto your Wi-Fi, and then it just sits there until you click the button. When you click the button, it turns this light on and starts the process of sending an email, and then maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Probably it works. It's pretty simple, but you know, if it didn't manage to connect to your Wi-Fi, you can't easily tell at the moment. But after 5 minutes, the light shuts off and the button becomes active again. I did decide to rate limit this thing so that it wouldn't be super easy to just spam somebody's inbox, just clicking the button over and over.
Right.
So
Cool.
if you can think of any other features, one that comes to my mind is just a light that lights up if it's connected to Wi-Fi or something, and then some way to not just hard code your Wi-Fi password in,
Right.
possibly. It's not that big a deal.
Right. All right.
There you go.
Great. So that is that. So I guess that's all the emails, right?
That is all the emails.
All right. So that was a much more reasonable length intro. Let's now get to the episode. So we thought today we would do another Would You Rather episode, since it was it was good last time. So we're gonna do that today. So the first Would You Rather question is: would you rather have a sandwich made from 4 random things in your fridge, or a sandwich made by your friends with things from your fridge? We were discussing this a little bit before the podcast. So, I mean, obviously, the answer is random, right? Because your friends are just going to make you something gross.
That was my first instinct, which tells me it must be true, right? I suppose it depends on the friends. Maybe they would have mercy.
Right.
But chances
Right,
are a random
here's the thing,
sandwich.
I don't know. It depends. If you have some really bad for things in your fridge, maybe my friends would, be nice and be like, okay, I'll give him this, jank sandwich, but, I'm not gonna put something completely disgusting on it. Whereas random, you never know.
Right. Yeah. So you've got the chance of just a raw egg if you go random. Whereas I don't think my friends would do that. They might make it butter, mayonnaise, taco sauce sandwich or something like that.
Right.
But
I don't think my friends would put milk on my sandwich, but that could happen in a random scenario.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, looking at the contents of my fridge, about 50% of them are condiments, and another 10 to 15% are liquid. So
nice.
Really,
Yeah, it's a good point.
the things in the fridge that are practical to make a sandwich out of are, I guess, maybe a handful of condiments, which would be weird but not all that terrible, or like, the lunch meat and cheese that I also have in my fridge. So
Right. So, interesting question.
yeah, I think friend sandwiches is the smart choice. All right, were you able to find any more interesting?
I saw one. Oh, this is just an interesting one, not necessarily a funny one. Would you rather not be able to open any closed doors or not be able to close any open doors?
Huh.
Like, either way, you're going to have a hard time keeping your apartment secure.
Right. I think not being able to close open doors is the safer.
That's definitely better because you'll still be able to, like, go places.
Yeah, you won't get stuck anywhere.
And for the most part, if you just, like, leave the door open a crack when you go in, no one's going to be like, what the heck is that?
So if the door will automatically close behind you, do you have to like prevent that from happening? Because like,
No, I mean, otherwise you just have to stand there forever, so I think that's fine.
Okay.
You just can't close it yourself.
All right. Well, that's probably fine then. I think this is a pretty sensible like.
Well,
what's the
so
downside?
Here's the downside. You go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You can't close the stall door.
Ooh. Uh-oh. I guess you just always. Well, I was gonna say you just always go to the single stall bathroom, but then you just can't close that door either.
Yep.
Maybe. Well, you know what though? The bathroom doors usually close by themselves.
You're right that the bathroom doors do, but once you're inside, oh, you mean like, yeah.
So if you went to one of the single occupancy, well, those ones though, it's kind of a coin toss, right? Because they're not
right,
the
and
sort
those
that
ones
you can
also
they have
they
locks
might,
on them.
yeah, not
So-
everyone has them either.
Right. Okay, so you've got to get really comfortable with just
And the same applies for if you're living with someone else,
yeah,
like your family. You can never close doors to go to the bathroom or get changed or anything.
right.
Um,
Could you like pin up a blanket over the door opening? Does that count as closing a door?
I think that would be allowed. Yeah, that would probably be allowed.
That'd be kind of weird though, if you just
It would be
decided to
weird,
start
but
doing
better
that
than
instead of
leaving your
closing
door
doors.
open. Leaving the door open.
I'm just imagining like your family, for example, like confronting you and it's like, just close the doors. Like, well, I can't close doors. It's not possible.
Right.
Like, what do you mean it's not possible? Just close the doors. Like that's not something that you can ever like rationally explain.
Right.
I think if you couldn't open closed doors,
It would just be way too much of an inconvenience.
right, you'd be stuck in rooms unless
Well-
unless somebody let you out. If a door closed automatically, you'd be stuck in there.
Well, right. So I think for a lot of public places, you would be able to get by like going through when other people open the door.
Just kind of like hanging around doors until somebody
Exactly.
came by to open them.
Yeah. So I think like public bathrooms, that would probably work fairly well.
Yeah.
Um,
There's usually a drinking fountain nearby, so you could like stand at a drinking fountain and, not just
You'd
awkwardly
probably-
be standing outside a bathroom.
and really, we all have a built-in anti-awkward stand-around device with us at all times now.
True.
You just sit there on your phone, and it won't look that nearly as awkward. So
It's still a little bit weird, at least in my head, to just imagine you're standing at the bathroom door looking at your phone. Somebody goes in and you're like, "Ooh, now's my chance," and you like follow them in specifically. They're probably not gonna think it's that weird, but like, it's a little bit weird.
it is a little bit weird, but that's actually not that bad. The real issue is that you can't ever like close the door to your house because you'll never be able to leave or get back in.
Right. So either way, you're going to be leaving doors open or trying to leave doors open
Right.
so that you don't get stuck places. And it's just a matter of, do you want to be able to open the door if it's closed, or do you want to be stuck? I think the obvious
Right.
answer is that you have to leave the door open.
What's an actual? Yeah. That's probably yeah. I probably agree. I was gonna say like we haven't really said any major cons to not being able to open closed doors.
Yeah. Other than being
Uh,
potentially stuck.
right. Like that's such a big con that it's like you could literally die if you enter a room that no one's entering or exiting in a few days.
Yeah. Could you, like, break the door down?
I mean,
Like, if it came
you
to
probably-
it, would you die,
you would-
or would you just break a hole through the door?
you would probably be allowed to, but I don't know how you would do that. Like, I don't, given no tools or anything, I don't think I could just break down a door.
I think if I knew I was going to be stuck in that room and I would die of thirst or something, you know, if I couldn't break down the door. Like right now, I live alone,
Right.
and
Well, let's say
I
let's
suppose
say,
I could like text somebody I know here to like come to my apartment and
let's say your apartment isn't a problem. Let's say you're smart enough that you have installed a motion detector so that when you or you can just press a button and the door will automatically open. I feel like that maybe that's
Oh.
cheating.
maybe it is, but maybe that's a brilliant loophole.
Right, but assuming that you can do that, what other situation would you be in where you would accidentally get trapped in a room? Oh, actually, no, I know what it is. You could never open your car doors. Nope, you could have the same device. Well, that would be a lot tougher than your house.
Yeah, it's more difficult to open a car door. You could get a car that has electronic doors where you just need to push a button
Right.
and it opens. Obviously, those are like, you know, luxury cars that'd be pretty expensive, but
Right.
it's not.
I'm trying to think what else. Where else would that
You could also
happen?
just leave your windows rolled down in your car.
Every time you want to enter or exit your car, you have to crawl through the window.
Well, I mean, you say crawl through the window, but obviously the first thing you would do if you were stuck in this predicament would be learn how to like grab the roof rail and swing yourself in like a cool person.
Right. No,
or you
I'm
could get a
imagining
convertible. That's the better option. You would get a
It
convertible.
is, except for in the winter, it sucks.
Well, I mean, you could put the roof up. That could just become your door. Except it's clearly
the-
not a door because it's the roof.
Right, but then it becomes a door. What counts as a door in this scenario?
Well, I think doors count as doors. Roofs don't
Yeah.
count as doors. Unless they do. I don't think they should, though.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so car solution solved. What
All
else?
So, I mean, most public places, as long as there's other people around, you'd be fine. You could just wait for somebody else to.
Right,
open
the
any
issue- you'd
doors
run it-
you're trying to open.
The only issue you'd really have is like if you were going to a very like place where not a lot of people go.
Yeah. Oh, you know what would be a huge issue?
What?
Closets.
You just leave them open all the time.
What if they're not your closets? What if it's like an office closet?
I can't think of a situation where you would like you must go into the closet.
I guess there could be like if somebody asked you and you would have to be like, no, I can't open doors or something.
If somebody asked you, you wouldn't say no to that person. You would just go to someone else and say, "Oh, hey, can you do me a favor and grab blah 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 from the closet?"
You just have an intermediate favored doer because you can't open. Okay, so that's I mean that's reasonable.
I'm starting to like the not being able to open closed doors over not being able to close open doors.
Right. So in the situations where you want to close a door and need to be able to open it again, that we mentioned before, bathroom doors. Who's gonna
Oh,
open the
right.
bathroom door?
Yeah, that's a
That
problem.
might be a little bit weird if you're like in a stall, and I mean, even if somebody else is in there, you like knock and you're like, "Hey, I'm done. Can you let me out?"
Just slither out the bottom.
Never mind. That's the problem.
Okay,
solved.
no, actually, now I'm thinking you may be right. That is a huge problem.
That'd be really awkward unless you could create some sort of like door opener device.
But see, I don't know that it's actually worse than the previous scenario.
where you can't close the stall
Right.
door.
Either way, you just have to leave it open.
You're right. I mean, you could like have it like almost shut, to where it's basically
Right.
shut. It's just not.
The
And
real
then-
issue becomes, what if someone closes it, like someone walks by and sees it slightly ajar and closes it? If you can open doors, then that's like
Then,
perfect.
yeah,
That's
perfect.
exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, you
but
want
if
that
you
to
close,
happen.
now you actually do have to roll out of the stall.
I think I'm back on the side of not being able to close open doors then.
Yeah, I think I'm back on that side too. Although I think we have determined that this is actually, either way, it's less of an inconvenience than it originally seemed.
Right.
So, all right, I think that's a good one. Did you find any
I
since we've
well,
been talking?
I found a couple that might be interesting to talk about, but before I get to those, I want to say that on this website that I found the question, would you rather eat only pizza for 1 year or eat no pizza for 1 year? Which you may remember from our original Would You Rather episode.
I do remember, and that it was a terrible question.
It was a very bad question. Makes me think that this is a very good website.
Well, it sounds like you found some good ones, so go ahead and read
All
them.
right, before I search for a better website, would you rather be a millionaire by winning the lottery or by working 100 hours a week?
Obviously, winning the lottery. Why would I want to work 100 hours a week?
I agree with you, but I can think of at least one downside to winning the lottery,
What is it?
which is, I don't know if this is universal, but I think a lot of places require lottery winners to, like, if you win the lottery, your name is published.
Right.
And so everybody
yes.
knows you've won the lottery. And you could get a bunch of people, like, harassing you for money.
You're right. So you're absolutely right about that. But I think that would also be the case if you worked for the money.
I think it would be a lot easier to convince people that you didn't owe them any money if you had worked 100 hours a week every week for the money, though. Whereas if you won the lottery, you could
I think so. So I think right. So I think you're right. You would probably get fewer people asking,
Yeah.
but the real issue with having that much money isn't that people will ask for it, because that's just like a minor annoyance that, in my opinion, working 100 hours a week isn't worth.
And I agree with you, yeah.
The real issue is that when you have that much money, it's hard to tell what people are actually your friends and like you can trust, and what people are just there to get your money. Like I feel like you see that with the celebrities all the time. Like they can, marry whoever they or date whoever they want, but a lot of people might just be in it for the money
Right.
or the fame. So, and I think that's a problem whichever way you have the money. So,
Might
I
as
would
well
say-
not have to do anything.
right. And honestly, the thing is, 100 hours a week is just so bad.
100
Like-
hours a week is, obviously you can't work 5-day weeks because that's 20 hours a day.
Right.
So you have to work 7-day weeks, presumably. And I don't want to divide 100 by 7, so you can imagine it's some large number of hours.
It's over 12, which is really absurd. So
it's like
you would-
it's like 14ish, I think.
it's like, what's the point of even doing that if you're just gonna have to work literally all the time?
Right. Yeah, being a millionaire really isn't all that good. Like, having money really isn't all that good if you're just working all the time for the money.
Right.
So, there you go.
All right. So yeah, there you go.
Okay. Here's a great one. Would you
All right,
rather be
let's hear it.
forced to sing along or dance to every single song you hear?
Oh, 100% sing along.
Right.
I already do that to like 50% of songs I hear.
I feel like that's easy for you. I have no idea which one I would choose.
So I feel like,
probably sing along. That's the less weird one.
well, okay, so think about this though. Actually, because what counts as dancing? Can you just tap your foot? Does that count as dancing? Can you, yeah, like what you're doing now, just kind of bobbing
Wiggle
your
around a
head back
bit?
and forth? I feel like that definitely counts as dancing, right? And
Okay,
it's not
yeah.
that weird to do that.
Assuming that counts, then that seems like the better.
It does seem like the better option. However, think about this. There's certain situations where that might not be what you want. Imagine you're at a funeral. You're just bobbing your head along to the music.
Yep.
May
Yeah.
not be appropriate. Or, certain romantic situations. You'll always have to dance during movies? Oh, that would suck.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit. That'd be a little bit weird. But like in a movie situation, I feel like if you were singing along, I mean, you could sing quietly,
Well-
I guess, but everybody around you would still be kind of annoyed at you.
Yeah, so here's the question then. A lot of most movie music doesn't have words. So well, how do you have to like da 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 or whatever the melody,
Yeah.
the tune, or do you only have to sing along if there's actual words to sing?
It says every single song, so I assume you would just have to like hum
Yeah,
the
and I
melody
think-
or something.
Right. I think you could. Yeah, it would. Yeah. I don't think it would be that bad. There's very few situations where you couldn't sit far enough away from other people that you could hum quietly enough that they wouldn't hear you.
Yeah.
I assume in the situation that you just know every song, which is a big bonus.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
What if you also became like, assuming you know every song, you know the words. That seems like kind of a benefit. So let's also assume that you become very good at dancing.
well,
Like
are
whatever
we
dance
assuming,
you choose to do will be a good dance.
well, do we assume that you know that you somehow immediately become good at singing if you in the singing scenario?
That's a good point. Maybe those two things aren't really that equivalent.
The thing is, you don't have to know a song to dance to it.
True.
You would have to know dances, though.
Unless you just like, wiggle around a bit or something.
Right.
Like you can do pretty much anything. It's kind of a bad dance.
maybe you don't know the songs. You just kind of have to just do your best, and it's just gonna be terrible if you don't know.
I feel
it.
like that's definitely the more fair comparison. If you don't know the words, you have to like kind of try. Assuming there's words, you
No,
probably
and even
need
if
to,
you
like,
don't, even if
pretend.
there's no words and you have to hum along the melody or whatever, you still don't know the melodies. You just gotta. Yeah, that is pretty bad. Now I'm considering dance. That might actually be
Yeah.
somewhat debilitating. Yeah, I might have to agree with you on dance there.
Would you rather have a mullet for a year or be bald for 6 months? I don't think either of us would look that bad with a mullet. I think both of us would look strange, but like fine, I guess, bald.
Yeah, I don't think either one is really that bad.
Yeah.
So which one would I rather have? Probably bald, just because it's shorter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird that they made those things.
You would look. The thing is, you would look super weird bald in the beginning, but then people would get used to it.
Right. Yeah.
Plus, you could then just tell people you had cancer, and then they would never question you.
You could just do this really terrible thing to.
People would be like, "Oh,
explain
why are you
you're-
bald?" And you'd be like, "I have cancer." They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry."
Yeah. And then in 6 months you just start growing hair again, and you're like, yeah, I'm cured. What are they gonna do? Like check if you had cancer?
Actually, that might cause other inconveniences, like people trying to, give you condolences all the time.
I feel like you could just be bald, and then say, yeah, I just wanted to try it. Gotta give
Would
it
you
some
rather-
time.
Would you rather have a clown only you can see that follows you everywhere and just stands silently in a corner watching you without doing it or saying anything?
That got worse
Or-
and worse.
Or have a real life stalker who dresses like the Easter Bunny that everyone can see?
Hmm.
I mean, it's got to be the real life stalker, right?
I think it does have to be that, because then at least everyone else can like help you, and you could get accommodations to avoid it.
Right, just get a restraining order.
Right. Whereas the clown is like, yeah, that's
There's nothing you can do about it.
It's terrible.
Of course, you may just get used. You would probably get used to it. Actually, no. The thing is, the clown doesn't actually do anything.
it's just there.
Right,
Watch.
but you would certainly get used to it after
I guess,
a
but
while.
nobody else can see it, and like that's the worst part of somebody watching you is you're like, oh, they're gonna know what I do. But then what? Nobody else can see them, so it's not like they can like tell people what you
Right, and
if you're trying to hide stuff or.
I mean, not that I would ever hide anything.
I realized that made me sound kind of suspicious, but like just in general, I'm sure
No,
we
I
all
get-
have things to hide.
Right, I get what
So,
you're saying. Yeah, I feel like after 6 months, you would for sure just ignore the clown, right?
I guess. Man, this website also has the pizza one. Why is that such a common question? It's dumb. Alright, I think I'm gonna go with the clown just because an actual stalker seems kind of like
Yeah, the
potentially
stalk.
bad.
I mean, yeah, the stalker seemed better to begin with, but once you think about the clown, it's much better.
Right.
All right, here we go.
like having
Would you
an actual
rather be an
stalker.
amazing virtuoso at? This is not a great one. It's too easy.
I was gonna say, whatever the other option is, probably isn't as good as being an amazing virtuoso, right?
Well, no, the other option is the correct one. Would you rather be an amazing virtuoso at any instrument, but only if you play naked, or be able to speak any language, but only if you close your eyes and dance while you are doing it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the second one, but both of those
Yeah.
don't really sound that good in the end.
I mean, I don't know, being able to speak any language, as we said just now, dancing doesn't have to be anything huge. So I feel like that one could be pretty good.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I also, well, I mean, but like, most of the time I play music, I do it for myself. I'm not like performing for others. So, like, conceivably, if I just hung out on my own sometime naked and could just play instruments pretty well, that'd be kind of cool.
Hmm.
Oh man, I've been switching websites because I keep finding the pizza one and assuming that just means the quality of the website is terrible. But this one I found is like really it's like this one is. Would you rather peel all of your nails out of your fingers or pull out all of the teeth out of your mouth?
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's terrible. Would you rather live forever or die in the next 5 minutes? I mean, probably live forever, right?
I mean,
not
probably
terrible.
die, right?
Well, I don't know. Is living forever really that bad?
I mean,
Still have stuff. I
not for
wanna
the
do.
first, not for the first 18 billion years, which would probably suck. But once you get to the heat death of the universe, you're just in eternal agony, because you can't breathe
I guess if
or eat.
I guess if I die in the next 5 minutes, all the rest of the stuff I want to do doesn't really matter. Hmm.
Yeah, we just had a lot of silence there. Sorry, listeners. We're just kind of scrolling through questions here.
These aren't that good. It was
Yeah.
the other one was we prepared them in advance, and at least some of them we like made up ourselves rather than having to search for.
Would you rather be locked in a room that is constantly dark for a week, or a room that is constantly bright for a week?
Both of those, I think you would go kind of crazy.
I think you would go crazy, yeah. The thing is, if in the dark room, it depends on what else is in the room.
Yeah.
Like, can you read in the light room? It doesn't really say.
If you could read in the light room, and I assume you get like the proper amount of food, and there's like, a bed and stuff, then
Right.
you'd go with the light room. It'd just be kind of like a slightly more boring version of an average week, except
No,
you can't turn
yeah.
the lights off when you sleep,
Which is a big negative.
it's a downside for sure, but. There's really no benefit to the room being dark aside from sleeping, because when you're awake you wouldn't be able to do anything unless you had like your phone or something.
It says you don't have your phone.
Oh, well, in that case, I guess I would pick the light room.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I think you
that's
might
I agree.
literally go crazy in the dark room, but.
Would you rather have? Go ahead.
No, yours first.
No, mine's not good.
All right.
Go ahead.
Would you rather be controlled by a mantis shrimp for a day and be forced to watch him make stupid shrimp decisions, or be the most wanted pirate on all the seven seas for a month in the 1700s?
So, first of all, obvious question. Am I a good pirate, or like do I gain pirating skills, or am I just as I am now? Just now I become a pirate.
No, I'm pretty sure you're just you, except you're in the 1700s and everybody wants to catch you.
Do I have like a pirate crew that I'm with?
I would guess that you have a pirate crew, because you wouldn't become the most wanted pirate if you were just like some dude on a boat.
Right.
So let's make some assumptions here.
Right. So my first thought is, what was the other option? Oh, you're controlled by a shrimp for a day.
You have to just watch as it makes stupid shrimp decisions.
So
In the words
let me
of the
ask you
question.
this. I assume the answer to this is no. I can't prepare in advance, right?
Yeah, probably not. You just wake up one day and you're like, man, what's going on? And then you see a little shrimp with like a joystick, and it's moving its shrimp legs on the joystick.
Shrimp don't have legs.
What do you mean shrimp don't have legs? Shrimp have legs.
They don't walk. They swim.
Do shrimp have legs? Yeah, look at that. Shrimp have legs.
Okay. Well. Okay, so here's my thought. Right, obviously. So I'm assuming that in the pirate scenario, you are transported back in time. You must survive for a month, and then you're transported back, like right where you where you left off. So
Yeah.
in that scenario, if you survive the month, nothing bad really happens.
Right.
But that month is gonna suck, right? Like, first of all, it's the 1700s, and you're on a boat, so there's like no conveniences whatsoever. You're certainly gonna get sunburned, like for an entire month. There's probably not gonna be a lot of food. I'm guessing. Like, the thing is, I was thinking maybe you could just float around for a month and probably no one would catch you.
Right.
But you may have to attack to get food. I don't know. I would guess that you probably couldn't just survive for a month. It depends.
Yeah.
But that month is gonna suck. On the other hand, if a shrimp were controlling me for a day, I'm wondering, like, how bad could that really be? Like, obviously the shrimp isn't actively out to get me.
Right.
But
it
there
doesn't
is
really
a
understand, like, I assume if a shrimp had the means to do so, it still wouldn't, like, open doors and go about its business. You would just, like, flop around and do
I'm wondering
do nothing
what
because the shrimp can't really. So maybe
like obviously the shrimp doesn't understand how to control a human body.
right.
So is it like you just lay there because the shrimp can't do anything? That doesn't seem like a very interesting scenario. I feel like it's more interesting if the controls are sophisticated enough that the shrimp can actually do stuff,
So let's
but
assume,
doesn't know what it's doing.
Let's assume that the shrimp controls its body and, like, some sophisticated process takes place to translate its intentions into your, like, what you would need to do in order to carry those things out. So you're not, like, being
I feel like
remote
that's, like-
controlled, it's just, like, mind controlling you.
I feel like that's not that bad, because what's the shrimp gonna want to do? Eat? Sleep? That's like all I can think of. So, like,
If that's all you can think of, a shrimp can't possibly think of more, right?
well, I can think of more things. That's just all I can think of that a shrimp would think of. It's possible that the shrimp could think of other things. I don't know, though. So if that's all the shrimp can think of, then sure. Worst case, I'll miss a day of work and my family will think I'm ill for a day.
Yeah, no. So what if you're at home and you're being controlled by a shrimp? I assume your family, like, tries to talk to you throughout the day, right?
Right. Well, the thing is,
And
if you're just trying to carry out the shrimp's intentions, there's nothing to stop you from talking, right? Unless the shrimp, for some reason, didn't want you to talk.
Well, okay. So are you assuming that you're, like, physically being moved around by the shrimp, but you can still say to your family, "Help! I'm being controlled by a shrimp"?
No. I was under the impression that, like, based on what you said, the shrimp would be like, I'm hungry, get some food. So I would get up out of my bed and walk downstairs and get food, or I could say, hey, Mom, what's for dinner, or whatever. Right? Like,
So
anything that would
think
reasonably
that,
get me food.
Okay, so this is the difference of philosophies of does
So-
the shrimp have to, like,
But it
dictate
could-
everything you do, or can it just
If
kind of
the
give
thing
you
is,
vague
if the
impulses?
shrimp has to give you instructions for every little thing you do,
Right.
then it's essentially just random what you're gonna do, right? Like, there's no way a shrimp can actually control you.
Right.
So, in that case, you're just gonna, like, walk around, bump into some walls, lie down, maybe make some unintelligible sounds come from your mouth. Your family will certainly think you're crazy. I guess for you it wouldn't be that bad since you live alone. But
Right.
at the moment, since I'm living with my family would just think I'm crazy. And they would be worried about me for a day. And that's it. Actually, they'd probably worry about me for longer than a day, because that's very weird behavior.
Don't worry, I'm normal now. The shrimp's gone.
I just can't really think of a scenario where that's worse than living as a wanted pirate for a month. in the
Yeah.
1700s.
Well, like many things that I find on Reddit, this turned out to be more funny and less good. So,
Well, no, I don't think it was good. It generated some interesting discussions about how a shrimp would control you.
I suppose, yeah, we learned some valuable things about what it would mean for a shrimp to make shrimp decisions for you. All right, do we have one to wrap it up? I think we're just about there.
Let's see.
In this moment of silence, I'm going to announce that I'm looking up the Olive Garden quote.
That's good while I look up the last would you rather to say.
What's that website
Blah, blah,
called
blah.
that we've been using?
Oh, I don't remember.
I remember.
You're the one who's been using it. Ugh. This website is out of good questions.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Let's see. I'm just trying to make one up on the spot now.
Man, even our quotes generator is kind of weird today.
Ugh.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the other Would You Rather episode is better than this one.
Well, that's because we didn't prepare for this one.
Right, which is an interesting lesson for us.
Right, and honestly, this one wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. Like some of these are like no-brainers. All right, here's a great one to end on.
All right.
Would you rather eat an egg with a half-formed chicken inside,
Ugh.
or eat 10 cooked grasshoppers?
I think when you said this was a great one to end on, you meant this is a terrible one. End of sentence.
It's a good question.
I'm gonna go with the grasshoppers because that one repulses me less instinctually.
I would almost agree with you, but there's 10 of them. It's like with the chicken, it's just like,
Oh man,
I feel
how
like you
can
could
even
almost just
say
swallow. With the chicken, you can almost just swallow it whole and be done with it.
That's maybe the worst thing I've ever heard.
But with grasshoppers, it's like, all right, I ate one. Now there's 9 more I have to eat.
Just shove them all in your mouth.
Oh, first of all, I doubt either of us could fit 10 grasshoppers in our mouth
Really?
at once.
They're not that big.
Second of all, I would 100% for sure vomit if I shoved as many grasshoppers as would fit in my mouth.
But what if you ate? First of all, this is, I assume, a raw egg, right? You're not like trying to cook this or anything.
I don't know.
It's you're
It
crunching
doesn't-
into the shell of a raw egg, expecting to find liquidy raw egg inside, and all of a sudden there's a chicken.
I was assuming that it's not a surprise. So it's not like you're expecting
Yeah.
to eat an egg and all of a sudden there's a chicken.
So,
Because-
okay, on one hand, the shock of just discovering a, half-formed chicken in the egg would almost certainly make you sick. That's awful. But
I'm also thinking you don't have to eat the shell.
even if you
So I'm
knew,
thinking-
that's
I was
that's the
thinking you
worst.
crack the egg into a bowl, there's a half-formed chicken in it,
yeah.
and you just have to... I don't know, it doesn't say you can't cook it either, but I assume that's cheating.
I
So-
do not advise you eat KFC during this episode. I mean, okay, I don't want to eat grasshoppers, but I am so, on a basic level, repulsed by eating a partially formed chicken embryo that I just can't consider.
I honestly don't know enough about like what a half-formed chicken would be like
I'm not a half-formed chicken scientist,
So
so I have no
yeah,
idea how all half-formed chickens taste like.
So I may be making a very grave mistake, but I think I'm gonna go with the chicken. The egg.
Ooh, yikes! One of our.
Let me ask you this: which is worse? Actually, I know what you're gonna say, but which is worse, this question or the poop brownie question?
Definitely this question.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Oh man, 100% this question. Not only was the other episode better, but this episode has lower lows. That was brutal. Yikes. Our quote bot finally spit out something that I consider reasonably interesting.
Let's hear it.
And luckily, it's also chicken themed.
Excellent.
By eating eggs from free-range chickens, we can make fun collapse under its own weight here in the middle of this Olive Garden.
Beautiful. All right. So thanks for listening, everybody. Send us an email with what you would rather do for all of the ones we covered. We'd love to hear from you and discuss on the podcast. But until next time, I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
And this has been
Joel.
Joel.